to know your history, and to be able to show them evidence, because black folk know truth. The one thing about black folk know truth because we've been lied to for so long. We have a sense of smell of truth, okay? Now, we may let you get away with that lie, but we know you lying for whatever reason. But our thing is just easy. Just move through life easy, you know, because when you get too deep and sort of, then families start breaking up and start arguing with each other because to them, that's all they have. You have more than that. When you know knowledge, wisdom, and consciousness, when you know truth, 1,000,000 can tell a lie and one tell the truth, and the one truth is in the majority. Truth knows truth. Ma'at, truth, justice, harmony, balance, order, arrangement, and my favorite, reciprocity. Reciprocity. What goes around, comes around. You shall reap what you sow. You shall get what you give. And I ask us as balanced human beings, if you really believed that whatever you did to somebody else was going to come back on you, would you really do that? Because if you, and then a lot of what you do will come back sevenfold. So if you do bad to somebody, it comes back on you sevenfold. If you do good for somebody, it comes back on you sevenfold. Would you really treat people the way you treat them if you really believe that? If you really believed that if I should hurt somebody, transgress against somebody, that whatever I did to them is going to come back on me. If I was willing to do that, then there's a mental issue that you have. And when you wish bad on somebody, even in your thoughts, it's like you drinking poison, hoping that they die. Yeah. Because those ill feelings are going within you. See, this is the beauty of black folk in America. Because I'm going to tell you something else that some may not agree with, but I ask that you just understand the scope of what I'm going to say. South Carolina, this individual goes into a church and shoots 9 people, kills them, goes to court. The families of the black people where this white boy shot him, Dylan Roof, they say to him, I forgive you. Black folk had a lot of problems with that. But I don't know, as it relates from a black perspective. See, a lot of us look at forgiveness as a word from a white perspective, but we don't look at it from a black perspective. Because I think from a black perspective, what those families were saying, I cannot hate you for me to carry that hate in my heart for the rest of my life for what you did. I've got to be free. So my forgiving you is not that I forgive you as you think I am. I'm forgiving you so I can move on from this point in my life. This is the kind of thought process that black folk have had to survive, because we'd go crazy if we ever held the anger, the animosity towards them for what they did to us over all these, and continue to do. Continue to do. We would go crazy. We would be sick in our stomachs and in our minds, in our hearts. Don't forget. But understand the forgiveness that we're talking about. It is not a Christian forgiving. It's a human ability to move beyond carrying that animosity in us. I can only imagine what those families felt. I can only imagine what they felt. There will come a day when we're going to handle that differently. Okay, that forgiveness may just come about with that person's extinction. But right now, until we get ourselves together, there's another way we got to handle our business. And little by little, step by step, It's happening. But we got to measure it and be smart and be able to do in life what we need to do. And with our families, we extend our love to them. And the only way I could ever honor, and this is interesting, because when I first met Dr. Clark when I was 12 and a half, he said, oh, Booker T, you're going to become a great teacher one day. I wasn't even thinking about becoming a teacher. I want to be an astronaut. But you see how things work out. I did become a teacher, so he was laying the groundwork for me back when I was 12 and a half. I didn't even realize it for a number of years. But when I think about my relationships and where I've grown and where we as a people have grown throughout my life, I have had to bend principles, but I've never broken any. And you have to understand the balance of when to bend, but never to break. Because when you break, you can never repair. When you bend, you can reshape. And in this society, our ancestors were able to do some phenomenal things as it relates to bending principles. Come in, the owner of the big house come down and ask Jed, say, Jed, what you know about this Underground Railroad? Jed say, Massa, Underground Railroad? What's that? I ain't never heard of Underground. What Underground Railroad, Massa? He said, oh, Jed, man, you stupid. You don't know. Okay, forget it. That night, Jed was on the Underground Railroad. Okay? Yeah. He bent the principle. That's right. But he didn't break it. You see? There's a difference. Yeah. And we were smart enough to know how to do it. I often think when it comes to Christianity and a lot of the religions that we attach ourselves to blindly, there's a proverb that says that when a spiritual system no longer meets your needs and solves your problems, it's like carrying the boat on your back after you cross the river. Because while it was that very thing that got you across to your safety, if you keep carrying it on your back, it becomes a burden. You got to dock that boat. You may have to cross that river again. Don't destroy it, just dock it, but walk free on the land. I believe that religion acts as an anchor for some of us in our lives. It contains and controls and dominates us as it relates to our thought process. Mm-hmm. And so I think that when you look at our ancestors, I'm just going to give you two concepts, just to let you know when we talk about the ancestors, who we talk about. If we should say that a generation is 25 years long, every 25 years is a new generation. And if I were to take you back 20 generations, you have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, okay? If I took you back 20 of those generations, through your direct ancestors and their ancestors, the question is, how many people dwell in you that allow you to sit here right now? And that number is 1,048,576 human beings live inside of you right now over the past 500 years who have lived and brought you into existence. Think about that number. 500 years ago, it started a process of 1,048,576 human beings dwell in each and every one of you. But let me drop the other shoe, because I only took you back 500 years. How many live in you if I took you back 5 million years? How many people make you up? That's right. You think you're alone? Do you know how many stories of happiness and sadness and celebration and joy and leaders and doctors and nurses live inside of you? And they want to talk to you. They see where you're going. Through your eyes, your ancestors see the world. All you got to do is turn those eyes inward and look to them to support what it is. People say, like, how do you pray? Well, I talk to myself. That's how I pray. because I am the creator having a human experience, and so is each and every one of you. So when you talk to yourself, those are your ancestors talking to you, trying to guide you through a certain way, and they're telling you certain things. So there's a whole bunch of folk that's inside of you that is just waiting for you to activate with them. Now, that's how many people came into existence in order to bring you into existence. Now, let me give you the other side that gives you your divine purpose in life, because now I'm going to tell you how many people did not come into existence in order to bring you into existence, that sidestepped and said, no, this is Brother Caleb's time to come into existence. This is Sister Sid's time to come into existence. Do you know how many billions of sperm cells were in your father? And how many billions of eggs were in your mother? But it came a divine time that only one egg and one spermatozoon would fertilize to bring you into existence. Think of all those millions of sperm cells that hovered over your mother's egg that you ain't in. But that one. Think of all of the eggs that your mother had that she processed to go through her fallopian tube in order to become fertilized by you. There was billions of choices, yet there was just that one. There was billions of sperm cells, but there was just that one. Not only did billions of people bring you into existence, but billions of people sidestepped in order for you to come into existence the day you were conceived. That's ancestral intelligence. That's the computer of your body, of your mind, of your existence. That is a cosmic computer. So everybody getting all caught up in artificial intelligence, that's a good thing. Artificial intelligence is a good thing. Money is too, as it relates to money, okay? Money ain't bad. It's according to what you do with it that makes it good or bad. You know, I mean, if you support live water, if you support Black Wall Street, if you support 3 Milli Productions, if you support Brother Kaba, your money's doing good things. It's emancipating and liberating you. But if you put it in other places, that may not be the best place to put it. The same thing with so-called artificial intelligence. I mean, what I've seen done in artificial intelligence is something else. They're building a Black Panther museum where they're literally bringing Huey Newton into the room with you. In other areas of the museum, they're bringing people, and they because of the history of what they know about that individual can talk to you and tell you about. You can go to Tuskegee at the museum there, and they'll talk to you. Booker T. Washington will come and tell you what he did in order to create Tuskegee, and you'll be looking right at him. Didn't they do that with Tupac? Yeah. Okay, so that's a great thing. But now when you take advantage of it and you bring people down and you show them in a negative light, now that's a whole nother thing. Artificial intelligence is neither good nor bad. It's how you use it that determines what it's going to be. That's the way it is in life. Most things in life are not good or bad. This is what Ma'at teaches us. Ma'at, which is the patron, the feminine principle of truth and justice, teaches us. It's not what it is that's bad or good. It's what you do with it. It's whether you let Asar do something with it, which is good, or you let Satan do something which is not good. So it's up to us to make these choices. You got to talk to your ancestors. And when you talk to yourself, I mean, I had a conversation this morning with a whole bunch of my ancestors. When I was looking in the mirror, I was brushing my teeth. I was looking at God. I was talking to God. I was looking at me because I am God having a human experience, and I know it. See, there are 3 levels. In humanity, and this comes from John G. Jackson, his book, Introduction to African Civilization. He talks about 3 levels of the human family coming up out of who they are. There is the level of the savage, the barbarian, and there is the civilized. Okay? And these are the three different entities. In the very beginning, as savages, we were like on an animalistic stage. Okay? None of these words are bad, by the way, because I know we think of savage as bad, barbarian is bad. We're not dealing with those. I'm taking those words and I'm looking at the human family as the mind and the intellect developed. The savage was the one that had an instinct, that did things through instinct, lived through instinct, knew when it was time to reproduce, knew when it was time to eat, knew when it was time to go to bed. Nature was the one that directed them and told them what to do. At some point in time, as they had a collected experience of learning and growing, the savage became the barbarian. And in the barbarian came a level of doing things that nature told you to do, but doing things that you told yourself to do. You were gaining the power to say no to nature. Then came the point where you became civilized, where you got instinctive intuition, where what you did because you knew nature and nature directed you, but you as a human being of a higher level of consciousness allowed nature to take over, and you took nature to the next level, the higher level of which you were born to do. It was a phenomenal way of doing what you did. As a savage, our philosophy dealt with superstition. We looked at things through superstition. A lot of what we did through superstition. You know, we say, don't go under a ladder, okay? Well, the reason why you don't go under a ladder, because you may hit it and the person will fall. There's no real superstition behind that. There's just a law that says, don't put yourself or someone in a ladder in a dangerous position. They say if you break a mirror, you'll have 7 years bad luck. Okay, no, you don't have 7 years bad luck, but mirrors were so scarce at a certain time. If you broke a mirror, then you could never see the reflection of yourself, so they were considered very special. They wanted you to possess it, but to do that, you had to handle it with great care. But that was superstition. The laws of nature came to you through ways in which they would make you do what you're supposed to do because you're afraid not to do it. And then as the barbarian, you went from superstition to organized superstition, which was religion. And so a lot of what you did through codification of laws and rules of nature, and you lived by those laws and rules of nature. That's the barbarian. But then as that barbarian developed himself philosophically, they began to look up and, like, for instance, the barbarian would look up at the sun and would worship the sun as the sun. But when they went from barbarian to civilized, you looked up at the sun and you realized the properties of the sun. You came to realize that the sun was the reason for all life on earth. You came to realize that all plants and all animals reacted to nature. The other day was the day of resurrection. Everybody talking about, don't look at the sun during the solar eclipse. That was resurrection. The sun was born. And then all of a sudden the moon came across and the sun died. Everything got dark. And then the moon passed by and the sun came back. The sun was resurrected. That was an astronomical story. And that is embedded in the stories of Africa. We're going to Kemet from June 16 to June 26. We're going specifically so we can be in the temple of Edfu on June 20th. June 20th, that Edfu was built specifically for the summer solstice. We want to be in that temple on the 20th in order to honor through our ancestral understanding the summer solstice, which means the sun stands still. Right now, you notice the spring equinox, days and nights are equal, 12 and 12, 12 hours a day, 12 hours of night. Now, from now until the summer solstice, every day is going to get longer, okay? And then when you get to the solstice, it's going to stand still, and then every day is going to start to get shorter, and you'll have more days of darkness than light. But right now, from now until June 20th, on June 20th, all animals, they just go in adoration of the sun. All of the plants aim all of their energy up towards, they all lean towards the sun on June 20th. Everything is an adoration of the sun because that's the longest day on our earth. And so our ancestors began to realize this happening. They weren't doing it because they were superstitious, or they weren't doing it for religious reasons. They were doing it because of scientific reasons. And when they did it for scientific reasons, that's when they were able to become civilized enough to understand that spirituality is unseen science and science is seen spirituality. And it became a science. People win awards. I see all these brothers and sisters winning awards. Grammy Award, Oscar Award, okay? And most of them are black. Much respect. Congratulations on all you did. But they all look up and say, thank God for this. Why are you looking up there? God didn't win that award. You did. The actor in you, the God in you that gave you that divine gift of acting or singing, that's who won the award. But see, the imposter syndrome, we're always looking outside. We are so humble that we always look outside because we can't be that great. We got to give all glory to God. But God is within you. Your holy book said it. God said that he made you in his image and likeness. That's why I trip over the word his. Because a whole bunch of women look in the mirror too. So what's that?
That's right.
So God, in order for there to be a God, there must be a goddess. Ain't no such thing as a male God only. Just doesn't exist. Just the fact that each and every one of us is half man, half woman. Mm-hmm. It was just our daddy's chromosome that decided that I would become a man and that his X chromosome made my sister a woman. So we're all half man and half woman, the perfect balance of ma'at. But we are gender in the sense that that is how we came into the world. It's just the way it is. Yeah. And so it's science. And so with our families, we just have to have regard and respect for them. And love them, respect them, continue to go to all the dinners, let them speak, because that's what they live. Yeah. Because other than that, we're just going to tear ourselves apart over a contaminated story that someone else told us. And we're going to lose the most precious thing we have, which is our family, because we're fighting over something that is no reason to fight. Let's come together and work this out together. And let me show you the greatness of knowing your history and your culture. Allow me, permit me, Grandma, to continue to love you, but I hope that you love me enough to let me be who I am, because let me show you by example. I'm the same person I would have been if I went to church with you on Sunday. I just ain't going to go to church with you on Sunday, but I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to come to eat and to enjoy you and to laugh with you. Just understand, I don't think that way. But I respect your way of thinking because I understand why you think that way. We've been through a lot, family. A lot of pain, a lot of struggle. But through that, we're still here. And it's our families. If it wasn't for Grandma, we wouldn't be here. Right. If it wasn't for Mama, we wouldn't be here. So that with that respect, that regard, and that love, we still can always do what we're doing, but at the same time, stay true to what we believe in and respect what they believe in.
Yes, sir.